So, you know, I'm just experimenting and exploring. I had an idea to make my work more productive. And I came up with the idea of using a straight edge with my flat chisel here to plane down. I actually had used it on this. Actually, no, I didn't. No, I didn't really use it that. Not like this. I did use the chisel a little bit, but to get a really straight edge, just put this beside my mark here and plane this down enough so that I can use the chisel, and just use the chisel and run it across like that from one flat surface to the next. And I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. That's really good, and there's no dip or anything. It's doing a really good job, and it went by pretty fast too. I just started that maybe 10 minutes ago, and I'm already at this stage. So what I'll do is I'll reposition it here and finish off the rest of it in a bit. But yeah, so that's another idea. I'm already brainstorming a jig that I can use so that I can work on raw round stock. I'm gonna call it round stock or logs, and I already have an idea of what I want to do. And I also brainstormed some ideas on a nice rip saw. I have two ideas in my head right now. That one will be cheap. I just need a rip saw for it. I mean, I just need a suitable saw blade for it, and then I'll regrind the teeth. And the other idea that I have is a little more expensive. I'd have to buy a carbide tipped circular saw blade, coarse tooth. My idea for that one is to cut the teeth off that and have a guy TIG weld it on to a saw blade for me. It's a little expensive, but I like the idea of having carbide tipped teeth. I think it'll be very durable, easy to sharpen and maintain, and accurate, because then what happens is the carbide generally overhangs the side of a blade by it's less than a millimeter on each side, which means that I never have to worry about setting the teeth angle, because there's always that the carbide is thicker than the actual material holding it. So I think that's better than setting teeth one side to the other. We'll see. I really want to do it. I don't think it would take a TIG welder long enough to TIG weld that. What I'll do is I'll cut and prep everything, and I just gotta find a guy. Maybe I'll ask what's his name, Michael Jean Sonner. He's a welder. I don't know if he has a welding setup at his house garage there by his dad, but well, I'm really satisfied with this. It's going to go very, very fast. That means that the next piece that I need to cut like this is also going to go very fast. And then, yeah, hopefully I can make money doing woodworking job like this. I'll have to get a little bit creative. I've learned a lot and have to accept a lot, because coming from the city and Home Depot and all these places, you have this mindset that the wood that you're using has to be 2x4, has to be 1 inch thick by 6 inch diameter. I mean, width boards, and the truth is that if you go into a forest to get the raw materials, the most productive and efficient way of building is to go with what you have. And I don't know how to explain that, but like say for my mallet here, I didn't have to turn that on a lathe. The maximum diameter of it was the actual size of the tree. I just needed to whittle down the handle and strip off the bark, you know? If I had the mentality of a city slicker, I would have gone and got a fucking log, maybe about what is that, 5-inch diameter, 6-inch diameter, and turn it on a lathe to arrive at the same results here, you know? And by doing it this way, I skipped the part of the lathe. So what I'm trying to say is that if I have an abundance of trees that are, say, 5 inches wide, 5-inch diameter, maybe it's better that I just rip as little material as off of it as possible and use it as it is in order to save time and effort. You know, it's just like riding a bicycle. Like, me personally, I never really cared, but you get to a point where that people are judging you so much riding a bicycle that all of a sudden you start competing with cars. You know, you start competing, you try to go as fast as a car and this and that and the next, but the bottom of the line is a car and a bike is a bike. The ultimate goal is that you arrive at your destination, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter anything else. Of course, a bike is not going to be able to do what a car can do, and a car is not able to do what a bike can do, you know? And it's the same scenario here. I'm not going to have perfect measurements all the time. I'm never going to have the trees with the perfect dimensions all the time. And, you know, I just have to do with what I got. And that's what it is. And that's what matters more. Because this is coming straight out of the ground. You know, I cut a tree and there's another one right beside it ready to grow and spring up. You know, it's not like at Home Depot, you go there and there's 2x4s galore. Excuse me. So, something that I had to come to terms with, because I really wanted to build and do stuff here with the raw materials that I have, but I always have that mindset of 2x4, 2x6, and planks, and this and that and the next, you know, like, just look at my house here, you know, that's the rafter. Look what it's built out of. That's a solid, that's 3 inches by, looks like 5 inches. Oh, where's my measuring tape? And that's what it is. And you look at the joist in my house, it's all round logs, and only the material that was needed to be removed was removed, like the top part of the log to sit the floor on, and the parts where the log rested on the foundation and on the center beam. And everything else was left as is, and that's what it has to be, you know? So getting like, in this case, it is kind of important that I get all this straightened up for weight savings, but like, you know, I don't have a sawmill and I'm not going to buy one, and sometimes it's not practical to just take out make it a straight board. Sometimes I just need this part here to be squared up to rest on something, or to be like a mortise going into a tenon. A tenon going into a mortise, you know? So it's cool. It expands my mind and my whole perception. And I like that. I've changed a lot since I ran away from Toronto. And I'm continuing to change. I'm not the man that I was when I first moved out here. And I would have never been this man had I not moved out here. And I know that if I go back to Toronto to get a job like what I was doing before, that I would be a key asset to the company. I always have been. And it was this mentality that I have that employers really appreciate and want. Because I'm there to do my job. I'm not there to be on the payroll. I'm there to make sure that there is a payroll. Because if I'm not pulling my weight, I'm not getting paid. And unfortunately, I have pride. And that pride tells me that I have to make sure that I feel the weight of my money, that I earn it. So, Anyway.